Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. Today, we're continuing our series in the brand new Player's Handbook, talking about the new and reimagined subclasses within. And today, we're talking about what is quite arguably known as the most basic, simple, and easy to play class and subclass in all of D&D, the Champion Fighter. Fighters are already one of the easiest classes to build. It's difficult to build a bad fighter if you know anything about the 6 ability scores and basic action economy. Fighters just do it all, and they do it reasonably well. But then they do have subclasses which add flavor, which add power, which add utility, which add magic. There's a lot to them. The champion just says, hey, let's keep things simple. Let's keep things basic, and let's keep things still powerful. We'll get into the details of exactly how the new champion works in just a moment. Before we do, though, I'd like to let you know, Relaxed Fantasy Review has memberships. For just $1 a month, you can support me here on YouTube and get a couple benefits. First, you get a little badge next to your name in the comments, letting folks know you're a supporter. Also, you get early access to my videos. I upload videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I upload them a day early for members only. If that interests you, you can click the join button. It's just down there next to the subscribe button. I'd love to see you hanging out in the Discord. You also get access to the VIP room in the Discord if you are a member. But if that doesn't interest you, that's fine. Just watching the video, liking, subscribing, jumping in the Discord as a free member, hanging out in the general chat, that's all wonderful ways to support me. So thank you for watching my content here on YouTube. Alright, so also all classes get their subclasses at level 3, fighters always have. So at level 3 you choose the champion. What do you get? You get improved critical. Now you can crit with weapons and unarmed strikes on a 19 or a 20. This just means that whenever you roll your attacks, regardless of, your modifier or anything, now you've got a 10% chance to hit a critical hit instead of a 5% chance. That's a meaningful boost. I mean, that's doubling your crit range. And whenever you crit, that's a good thing. If you manage to get advantage on your attacks, that's even better. And, yeah, it's nothing game-shattering. It's just good. I give it 8 out of 10. You also get Remarkable Athlete. You have advantage on initiative rolls and athletics checks, so that's nice, especially if you're a strength-based fighter. Now you're gonna grapple better, escape grapples better, and advantage on initiative means you get to more often than not go first. If you have balanced strength and dexterity somehow, which isn't a bad idea on a champion, it means you'll go first and hit hard. Also, when you score a critical hit, you can move half your speed without provoking opportunity attacks. Since you crit more often, this means you'll get more battlefield maneuverability. I think that this is a solid double feature, and it just gives you more ability to be where you need to be on the battlefield, or to do what it is you need to do on the first round of combat. I give it 9 out of 10. Now at level 7, you get a very simple feature, additional fighting style. All fighters get to choose their fighting style feat at level 1. If you're a ranged character, you might have the archery fighting style, there's the thrown weapons, there's the unarmed fighting for more niche builds, there's defense for more armor class, there's, the protection and interception fighting styles. Great weapon fighting isn't that good, most people don't like it, but it's still there if you need the tiny damage boost. And most fighters pick their main fighting style at level 1. At level 7, the champion says, hey, I know that I'm really loving my great sword or my bow or whatever it is that I'm using. Maybe it's the two-handed fighting style and I'm a dual wielder. But, I really need a bit of extra defense, or I really need a bit of extra utility. I'm going to take the defense fighting style or the interception fighting style, or maybe you want to do both dual wielding and ranged. I mean, both use dexterity. Heck, you could even get, if I'm thinking about it and I'm like, what would I be using? If I'm a strength-based character, I want a two-handed weapon, but I also want a one-handed weapon with a shield. So maybe it's great weapon fighting and dual and dueling. Or maybe it's two weapon fighting and archery. Like there's definitely ones that can complement. And if you don't want to have multiple weapons that you're specialized with, just take defense. The +1 to AC is good for any character. I think that there's enough here to say that it's worthy of an 8 out of 10. Next, the Heroic Warrior feature. This comes in at level 10. And basically it says, during combat, so during initiative rounds, you give yourself a Heroic Inspiration die every time you start your turn without one. Heroic Inspiration has been buffed and has been given a lot more clarity in the new book. It is a reroll. It is like an old luck point. If you fail anything, whether it's an ability check, a saving throw, an attack roll, you can even reroll damage if you botch a damage roll. Like, if you've got a great axe, you roll the d12. No one likes to see the 1. You could use your inspiration to roll it again. In either case, inspiration is strong, and this gets it every turn as long as you're using it. Judge based on the combat you're in. If you're against somebody who's got a lot of magic or who's got like scary effects like a dragon's breath or frightful presence, and you don't know if you're going to have to make a save against something really, really scary, mind control maybe, then I would be saving this every turn and not using it up. But if I'm fighting against just basic, hit hard back meat shields and like a thing of bandits or orcs or monsters that don't have scary abilities, I'd probably be using this to just give myself advantage on every attack. That way I'm more likely to crits, or I'm going to turn my misses into hits. Next level, I'm going to get 3 attacks every turn, 6 if I action surge. Yeah, I'm probably just going to be using this to power myself up or keep myself safe. And it's just always there. Every turn you get this. You just gotta, it's hard to use this wrong. And I think it's worthy of a 10 out of 10. Level 15 comes along and you get Superior Critical. And Superior Critical just widens that range even further. Now you crit on an 18, 19, or 20. A 15% chance to crit is pretty impressive. And considering the fact that you get 3 attacks and you're going to get a 4th one by the end of Fighter, this is a lot of power. It's the kind of thing where you can probably expect to crit more often than not every single turn. Action Surge to make that even more likely. And yeah, there's a lot here, and I think it's worthy of a 9 out of 10. The final feature you get at level 18 is Survivor. This is 2 features. 1, you get advantage on death saving throws, which is really nice, especially in late game when you can get hit really hard. And, making death saves is scary. And death saves have a mechanic where if you crit on a death save, you get a natural 20, you automatically get 1 hit point back and become conscious again. Well, Survivor gives that additional crit range to you. So if you manage to roll an 18, 19, or 20 on your death saves, it treats it like a crit, giving you your hit point back and letting you stand back up. The other thing you get here is a regeneration feature, which says that if you are bloodied, if you're under half hit points, you regain 5 plus your constitution modifier every turn. It's a passive regeneration that you don't have to do anything for, and assuming that your constitution is good, I mean, I see most fighters max out their strength or their dexterity most of the time, but you get like 7 feats as a fighter. So I would argue that this is not unreasonable to be a 20. So 10 flat regeneration, maybe 9 every single turn. It's not going to do a huge amount at level 18 where enemies can hit you for 50 plus, at least if they're bosses. But I mean, it'll stop, a minion or 2 from whittling you down. And yeah, I think overall the Survivor feature isn't bad. I think it's 9 out of 10 as well. It's enough good stuff that it is worth discussing as a positive boon, even at the high levels. And that is the champion. It is very, very easy to play. You get additional critting, you get advantage on initiative, you get extra fighting style, and that inspiration every single turn at level 10 is massive. And then in the end game, you get advantage on death saves and a bit of regeneration. This is great. This is really, really fun stuff. And I know what you're thinking. How does something that's as simple as this compare to the complexity of a battle master or the power of an eldritch knight? Like, how would you think about playing this kind of fighter? And my argument to you is all of those fighters like to focus on their special shtick. You know, a battle master will pick maneuvers that work for his fighting style, whether he's a dex-based fighter, ranged or dual wielding, whether he's a strength-based fighter, sword and board or two-hander, it doesn't matter. He's going to be focusing on the maneuvers that benefit his fighting style. And if you're an Eldritch Knight, you're pumping your intelligence and you're choosing your spells, and you're going to have to be splitting your attention between magic and combat. And then there's other ones as well. You know, the Psi Warrior likes their intelligence to be high for their psionics, even though that they can use strength or dex. My argument for the champion is that they're one of the best switch hitters. They're the kind that can approach combat with ranged weapons. Take the archery fighting style at level 1, become a ranged fighter, and then pull out dual wielding when you get into close combat. But then, at level 7, grab a different fighting style. Maybe the defense will work or the two-weapon fighting, but you could also grab dueling or even great weapon fighting if you wanted, turning you into this like bow at long range, massive weapon at short range. With the extra fighting style, with the heroic inspiration every turn, with the advantage on initiative rolls helping buff your dex, you just have this ability to do both things. And there's something I didn't mention as well, the remarkable athlete. When you crit, you move half your speed without provoking opportunity attacks. Again, opening a window for you. You're in close range. You manage to land a crit with your sword. Well, guess what? Now you can sheath it, back up, pull your bow out, and keep firing. You can tactically assess which weapon you're going to use, especially when you start looking into the weapon masteries. Imagine if you're a heavy crossbow wielding champion using the push mastery to knock enemies back as you approach, and then you can pull out a weapon that has the push mastery, maybe your sword and board, and you've got yourself a warhammer, or do warhammers topple? I think battle axes topple, but that would work too. There's options for you to tactically control the battlefield using your masteries, and your different fighting styles will buff this even further. The champion is my vote for the most versatile fighter that doesn't use a shtick. There's no psionics, there's no battle maneuvers, there's no magic, it's just you and your weapons, and your weapon masteries. And that is enough for you to earn dominance on the battlefield in multiple avenues. And I think this is a really fun class to play. With the advent of weapon masteries and the new rules on inspiration, I'm giving this 9 out of 10. I genuinely think the champion is that good. I don't think it's boring anymore. In the old days, champions just got their weapons, and they got their expanded crit range, another fighting style later on, and that was kind of it. It was like, yeah, you got weapons, you got armor, have fun. Now, weapon masteries make the base fighter more versatile. And yeah, the champion has a really, really fun spot as the weapon-based only tactical switch hitter. I give it 9 out of 10. Very, very fun. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below. Have a look for the join button down there, and keep your eyes peeled for more subclass reviews coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.